Hey guys, in today's video, I'm going to show you a step-by-step guide on removing this old Yamaha seat cover and installing a custom seat cover from Ritco products. I want to thank Matt at Ritco products for supplying this seat cover for us today so we can show you guys why you should check out what they have for your ski. Check out my description for links to their website and products used in this video. The first thing you need to do when you get your seat cover is pull it out of the box, lay it out in the sun, or use a heat gun to help relax the folds and wrinkles in the seat. Once you've allowed enough time for the new seat cover to relax, the next step is assessing the seat itself and gathering the tools needed to remove the old seat cover. Let's get the new cover out of the way so we can start removing the seat cover from the old seat. This is the original seat. It does have a couple holes in it that we're going to address. It does kind of suck that we're going to lose the Yamaha logos, but it's going to look a lot better with the Ritco product seat cover for sure. The staples that are in this cover are the thicker staples, and they do a great job securing the cover, so we're going to stick with those. Take one last look at this cover because we're about to get it removed. Just stick around guys because we're going to transform this seat to look 10 times better. Now it's time to get this old cover off. I'm going to show you the 3 different staple remover tools I use that are the most effective. The first one I'm using here is a standard flat blade screwdriver. It's very effective because you can lift the staple out with your index finger. This next one is the Arrow bent nose staple remover. It also works very well because with the bent nose it works like a pry bar. You can also lift the staple out with your index finger. You want to take note of where the original staples were stapled so that you kind of get a feel for when you go put them back. That's where you want to have them. That way you also don't want to have them really any more than 1/4 inch deep. That's a 1/4 inch deep staple right there. If you go longer, sometimes they can poke through the other side and you don't want it to poke through the new cover. So if you go any longer than 1/4 inch, you run the risk of it poking through, and that's just not a good idea. You could ruin your new cover doing that. So this last one is a CS Osborne staple removal tool. Since it has sharp points, it's also very effective, but you need to be careful using it when removing staples in your new cover because it could put a hole in your new fabric. If you have any staples where one leg sticks on the seat body, you can always use a pair of wire cutters to pull those out. Although it may take a lot of time to get all the staples out, you need to remove them all so your new cover will look its best. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please take a moment and do so. I have a lot more videos to come. This is the original cover from 1992. Although it's not completely worn out, the ski will look a lot better with a new custom cover. This metal seat is more of a solid material than the newer style seats. That's why it's held up so well. There is a softer section in the seat top surface that makes it a little bit more comfortable to sit on. There are 2 holes in this seat body I want to fix so they wouldn't show through the new cover. I'll show you what I did to fix those next. Here's a better look at the repairs I did to fill in the holes in the seat base assembly. All I did was I used a decent amount of DAP caulk and I feathered it across the surface so it bonded to the surrounding area. Since this was a dense base material, the main priority was to fill the holes so they wouldn't show through the new cover. Here's a quick look at the repair on the other side to see how it turned out. The next step is centering up the new cover on the seat. Now that we have the seat base in good shape, it's time to get the new seat cover laid out on the seat and get it centered up. Since this seat cover has no fixed corners to lock it into the seat anywhere, I consider it to be a floating seat cover. Locking the seat cover in a centered position is very important to make sure you have enough material to attach all the way around and it stays centered. In order for the front area fabric to attach properly, I'll be cutting slits in the fabric so it follows the contour. Alright guys, I've got it about as centered as I feel like I'm going to get it. I got the emblems about centered on the seat, and at this point, everything's looking about as as lined up as it can be. I feel like what's going to happen is I'm going to end up starting back here, securing this, maybe moving up front, and then actually getting clamps and trying to clamp somewhere in the middle here, since this is kind of a floating cover and not really any fixed points on it to where it can actually, like get it to lock down somewhere. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to start at the back. I've got everything kind of clamped where I feel like it should be, and I've got enough material in every direction at this point. I've got plenty plenty of excess to cut off. So I feel like what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to pull this area in to allow the emblems to kind of swing around a little bit more. But I am going to start back here. So I noticed there were some wrinkles back here. And so I'm going to heat up the underside to allow this this maroon section or burgundy section to come around a little bit more. I usually keep this board with a piece of vinyl on it nearby, just in case I ever need to check the staple depth and pressure. I'm going to heat this up a little bit and get right into it. The first staples I'm putting in are just placement tack staples. They are mainly used to keep the cover centered. You can always remove tack staples later if needed, and install new staples in the area to better secure the cover. Now that I have the rear attached and centered, I'm going to reposition the clamps to keep the center portion centered. Just keep going around the perimeter of the seat and pulling fabric about 2 to 3 inches at a time to attach. If any staples don't get completely seated, I use a flat face body hammer to tap it in a little further. As you're going around, it is good to use a heat gun to allow the fabric to pull around easier. Alright guys, here's a quick look before we take a break. I've got everything pretty much all the way up to the front, so the front corners will need to be done. But these corners down here have been done already, or pretty much already just about done. The back is already done. As you can see here, the seat cover is pretty much centered all the way down. There's even amounts of white on both sides. We're going to take a break now, and I'll be back to show you what I do to make the front easier to attach. All right, guys, we're back from a break. At this point, now I got the staple gun loaded. I'm kind of really a little short on material here, so I'm going to try to get this corner pulled up. And I think that's the best way to tackle this, is kind of getting this corner rolled around. I've done a little heating already. I'm trying not to trying to stay away from the edges. If you stay away from the edges, it's best, because that way you don't have an issue with the staple kind of going through it and it pulling out of it. So heat all up here, but try to not heat the edges where the staple is going in. So that's my best recommendation. I'm mainly just trying to get the material up here to stretch and move around. In order to access and attach the front, it's going to be a lot easier to do with the seat upside down. I'm starting the front corners by heating the top side fabric and pulling the fabric up and over the corners and securing with staples. The rest of the fabric on the front sides just involves pulling a little fabric at a time or rolling the fabric over the edge and attaching with staples. Anytime you see a wrinkle, just grab a heat gun to help soften the material and pull it around. This is a trick I do to allow the fabric to pull in different directions when attaching the front curve section. Heat also helps in this area. When I get ready to fold the top and bottom parts of the corner over, I typically cut out any excess material so it doesn't bunch up in the corner. The way I typically do most corners is I cut out any excess material not needed, and I heat and fold over the top and bottom parts and cover the staples on the lower part. Don't be afraid to put in a few extra staples. The more you have in, the better chance you have that the fabric stays secured. Alright guys, so here is the finished seat, and I already just got finished cutting off all the excess fabric on the back side, so I'm going to show you that. The last thing you do after you finish cutting off all the excess fabric is just touching up, throwing a couple extra staples in to secure any other loose fabric that might be just kind of rolled up. You know, there's like little spots like maybe here, or anything that you see like right here, like where it's kind of rolled up here, maybe another one here, right where this little corner is, maybe one right there. Just kind of go in and just throw a couple extra staples. That's what I'm going to do, just real quick. I'm going to give you guys a look at my staple job, and you can tell me what you think. Now it's time to turn it over and show you how it all turned out. This seat cover install turned out so good, I can't wait to show you what it looks like on the ski. Now that we're finished, I'm going to walk you around the whole ski to show you how just a few enhancements will bring new life to an old ski. The backstory on this ski is I picked it up as a bare hull with no engine, no cables, and the grips, seat cover, and traction mats were in need of updating. The 4 cosmetic things I did to the ski was to polish and wax it, replace the grips, and install a new custom seat cover and new traction mats. The grips we installed are Odie Road grips, and the seat cover and traction mats are from Ritco products. Special thanks to Ritco products for supplying the seat cover and traction mats, and you can find links to all the products, tools, and materials in my description. This video is just one part of a series of videos I'm doing to show the rebuild process of this Yamaha waverunner 3. If you want to see more, just check out my channel. One cool thing about these Odie grips is that they have a cutout in the flange for the throttle trigger to allow it to move freely. Ritco Products has a lot of new products coming out in the new year, so you guys really need to check out their website to see what they have for your ski. If you enjoyed this video or just found it helpful, please smash the like button, subscribe to my channel to see more cool videos like this one, and I'll see you in the next video.